Hello everyone, welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup group stage. I'm here with Flame, and I am known as Jason Kaplan, here lovely in this seat. I had to put him back up again because he unfortunately did fall back down again. But how you doing, Flame?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm expecting a good match, hopefully a better one than before, a little bit closer. But we have a better, or I would say more diverse map pool for this set, so I think that'll play into it as well.
Yeah, speaking of the map pool, we have Volskaya as our first map, Hollywood as our second map, and if we do need it, Nepal will be coming up third. But it's Austria up against the Czech Republic, and I already recognize actually a couple people from Czech Republic. For some reason, for the life of me, I can't put my finger on it of where they're actually from, but Neko, Lashon, and Ivanhoe all come to mind. I've actually cast them back in the beta phase. But Austria had a really good showing in the last match when they did play up against Serbia, picking up a 2-0. But now we're going to see what they can do against the likes of the Czech Republic. It's going to get them the ready to go, and we can hop into this game, hopefully, soon. Again, we do apologize for the delay. We had to wait till 8 o'clock because that was when the match was supposed to start anyways. That's when the teams actually scheduled the match. But yeah, Flame, for the people out there wondering who you are, which I think most should already know, you want you to kind of talk about where you're from or what you're known for recently.
I was on the Splice roster for a little while, formerly Team Finalgo McCree. Now I'm just kind of getting into casting and I guess doing analysis videos as well as streaming at the moment. But yeah, that's where I'm from.
All right, well I have
Top
to get
500 player.
You have to brag about it, all right? You don't have to like rub that in.
Some of us can get it, but
wow. Yeah, I tried to get your face to stick onto the chair, but it doesn't want to stay, so I'll have to come up with a different solution in the break. But we are into game.
The lobby here.
Oh no. Oh no. So, Mercy has actually been having some internet issues, I heard. So hopefully it's not that issue. But I can take this time to fix your lovely face. Here we go. You been losing weight, man?
Yeah, every time that I fall off that chair, I get a lot of Bible thumps in chat, so.
Yep. Don't worry, I'm putting on Mercy and I'm resing you. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so I think he's just rejoined the lobby really quickly. Yeah, Austrian internet, they're saying, and he should be in momentarily. And they're actually starting to get him ready, so perfect. This is actually going quicker than a lot of the pro games we have, where they sit there and wait for 5 minutes before they actually do get back into the game. But we're loading into Volskaya. Let's drop you in. It looks like it will be Austria on the defense, and it will be the Czech Republic over on the offense.
This map, I think, lends itself more to offense on the first point, more to defense on the second point. I don't expect many full holds. I don't expect the full hold at all, to be honest with you. But this map is different in that it doesn't rely on time as much as it does just completion. Like, I'll be surprised if this goes higher than maybe a 3 or a 4 point game for either team. But this will be a good telltale of how the match is going to go, because I think this is more about a raw, like, this is just constant timed, like, separated fights, and I think that that's what's really nice about the 2CP maps in particular.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to think about the Ghost of Gamer competitive games that we did have on Capture Point. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head any of them, but I would imagine they wouldn't pass like 3-4 points like you're saying, and even my experience in competitive play so far at my lowly rank of 3280, and you're like 7K or something like that, something ridiculous. Yeah, you still don't really see a lot of teams, you know, get that too far through. But in the meantime, let's go to the lineups while we do have some time to talk about it. On the side of Austria, you just saw them before, or if you're just joining us, this is your first time meeting them. We have Bombi playing Reinhardt, Watt playing Zarya, Mercy on Zenyatta, that's always fun to say, Ace Pump on McCree, Thritley over on Reaper, and Zazzles on Lucio. And for Czech Republic, for the first time today, actually seeing them, we have Neko playing the Zenyatta, Ivanhoe playing the McCree, Kunhuta over on the Zarya, Falcon on Genji, Lashon on Reinhardt, and Hydax over on Lucio. So I want to actually tune in with Falcon here in the beginning on this Genji and see how he actually performs, because there's so many options he could go for, right?
You can go around that left side flank, you can go through the window, or you can just dash right through the choke. This is a very fast push that's coming in from them right here. They're just going to take up the left side and try to get upstairs. But now they're all stuck in this doorway.
And you're trying to see the response come out of Austria as well, as Watt towards the backside, just able to spam away with those right clicks, able to do some really good damage. And now they're separated in a really bad way here. Ivanhoe's immediately going to be taken down, but it doesn't matter because nonetheless, Czech Republic had picked up 2 kills. Hydax is still doing some work here as he picks up a kill onto Watt, and he's still able to keep his team healthy and alive. And not to mention now, they're going to have the man advantage when it comes to the re-attack on the point. But hell, at this rate, they might not even need it, as they're going to take it on the first attack.
What was interesting to me is I thought that they were actually out of position. Like, they had half the team in the room and half the team on the staircase, and they wound up just pinching the entire Austrian team inside of that little area in between the 2 doors, and then they just kind of got pinched. That was a really good push, really well executed. They have this Graviton Surge, and I think that's going to be what sets them up for this next push. Mercy actually just, I think he switched off Zenyatta back or to Mercy, so they don't have res at all here and no Transcendence to counter this Graviton. So this Graviton could actually just set them up for an easy fight.
And you see him go straight for Mercy as well, so he's immediately taking out this fight, so he has no chance of a res, even in the refight breaking off the back of this, but they're trying to have a clean transition from this first attack into the second, and so far they've lost out on 2 people with no res, and Bombi gets a fantastic charge on a Genji. You don't see that happen every day of the week, and it looks like Czech Republic will not successfully be able to take this point for now, as Bombi popping their Earth Shredder down, just trying to make sure they can hold this point and don't let it go too quickly. And that will be a successful hold. Czech Republic going to be repelled back.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bombi actually, that pin he got on Falcon at the end there was really big. I don't know if he needed to use the Earth Shadow there, but it can't really hurt. I think that the real tell that they thought that they were in a better position than they did, the Czech Republic. They popped the Transcendence at the end when 3 people were already dead, so they're not going to have that for this push. But it looks like Dereneko actually got a really, he almost has it again somehow.
Well, let's see, it's going to be Falcon going towards the high ground again. He's looking for Mercy, and he's going to find just that, but he does get the Guardian Angel away, but it doesn't matter. Thrilly picks up a triple kill with the Death Blossom, and Blomby's going to come in, or Bombi, sorry, with the just regular attack, and Falcon's left wondering, where the hell is my team? He's going to fall as he just try to dash away around the corner, but eventually should be chased down. Oh, the nice reflect out of him is not going to be enough as what will secure the kill. But Austria, they stopped the rot. With a very quick take on the first one coming out of Czech Republic, they've been able to repel 2 attacks now off the back out of some good position out of Thrilly.
Yeah, and that goes back to that Transcendence that he used on the first push. If he had it there, he probably could have countered that Death Blossom, but he actually didn't have it, so that Death Blossom coming in from Thrilly was actually ginormous, and those 3 kills just set them up for a
Mercy's disconnected again. And he's dead,
Rip.
and he has the res. And now, after what Austria did on that first attack, or these 2 defenses off the back of that, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Here's Ace Palm with the deny from the side, not able to connect to the kills just yet. Swam is able to return the kill onto Ivanhoe, and Falcon's finally able to chime in, but so far, Czech Republic have actually lost on quite a few people. It's just down to 3 men remaining. Thrilly's just trying to hold on the best he can here. On this Reaper, he's looking to do so much. He's down to 39 HP and eventually picked off. Ace Palm even switching over to the Mei now, just trying to drag on for as longest time as they possibly can.
They might be able to delay here. I doubt they'll be able to hold, but if they can get these 3 kills, they're in a good position to at least start something to like stop the bleeding.
Well, they got a Graviton Surge off at least.
This is still kind of doable if they can get the right kills.
And Falcon is still just dragging Bane away, picks up a double, but that's going to be it. And Mercy, with a disconnect that could have cost him the map, that will be the Czech Republic finally securing the second point with 4 minutes and 33 seconds remaining. You have to wonder, would that have actually been a successful attack? Because Mercy did have res there before he disconnected.
So I guess the tell here is that, I mean, it's a huge deal that Mercy gets disconnected, but they did stop the bleeding, and their time's not actually that bad. So while it's unfortunate they lost that Mercy on that hold, it could have, like, you could chalk it back to, like, say maybe Mercy had died first, like that could have been a thing. Like, you know, it's not something that you can play around. It's just, it's good for them in the sense that their time, like their defense time was still pretty good and they can work around it. It's unfortunate for sure, but it's not the end of the world, and I think that they have more than enough on the clock to make up for it.
And how are you feeling about the lineup that Austria's going with here on the attack? Because they have a Tracer. The first time we're actually seeing Tracer, I think, so far in the entire tournament from the initial game. Thrilly's going to be picking her up.
Yeah, I like Tracer on this map, or at least for both points actually, because there's a lot of flank routes in both areas, and there's a lot of open space on this first point to duck around, and there's more than enough health packs also. So if they can get the Tracer in behind, as long as they can kill Ivanhoe on the McCree, the Tracer should be able to do work, and that really comes down to whether or not they can deal with this McCree. There's not much else on the side of Austria to deal with, or not Austria, on the side of Czech to deal with the incoming Tracer. So it really will come down to whether or not he can get in position and whether or not the McCree is dealt with.
And you've talked quite a bit about earlier on in the first match, the new supports that we're seeing, at least the new combos of supports. Because on one side for the Czech Republic, we do have the Mercy and the Zenyatta, but for Austria, we have the Zenyatta Lucio combos. So does this kind of give you a telltale of what Austria wants to go with, like a quick, fast attack?
I mean, I think in general you want to run the Lucio on this point, or just points in general, because for pushing you want that speed. Like if they come through this choke right now, it's going to be very hard to disengage for the Czech Republic because they're going to have to back out without speed boost or anything. And the Lucio speed can catch teams off guard. It makes your Reinhardt better, it makes your Reaper better, and it just puts your Zarya in a better position as well. So they should abuse the speed boost right now. Like this is their window where there's no ults up for the side of Austria.
Oh, that coordination as
And
well.
there we go.
Ivanhoe just turns around and basically two-taps Thritley and even had the Discord Orb up onto the right target of Darreneko. They were trying to focus that man down, but you talked about before, if Ivanhoe, if he can't be dealt with by Thritley, then that Tracer isn't going to be necessarily too effective, at least at this current stage, even with the great flank coming out of this man. But Bommy's able to return the kill on his Zenyatta, so that's actually a big kill now. Coming in for Austria, they're going to have the man advantage on the re-attack, but Bommy, he almost has that Earth Shatter ready to go. This could be a big turning point.
They need to get in on Hydax right now. He's about to get the res up, and the fact that he might, if he gets it off, they're in a good position. But if he isn't able to get it off, then that could set them up for failure. As there goes the 2-man res.
Yeah, he gets the res off, and Bomby just kind of fluffs, unfortunately. His Earth Shatter coming through. Hydrax doing a great job just dodging around as much as he possibly can, but the fight's not done just yet. Thritley's still alive on point. Watt's there as well, and they'll pick up some crucial kills on a Hydrax and Falcon alone. And it looks like basically one and a half attacks later for Austria. They capture the point. And now they have a hell of a lot of time left to work with to capture the second. Even Thritley getting really aggressive here just to get some information for his team.
Yeah, Ace Palm actually went up the right side staircase and just stood up on that ledge and just shot down. Nobody can really deal with him. They don't have the best high ground heroes, or they didn't anyway on the Czech Republic side, so...
They got the combo though. They got the Graviton Surge and the Pulse Bomb. As Thritley kills himself here, but nonetheless they pick up enough kills to maybe take this point. Even Ace Palm off to the side just trying to help secure the last couple of kills, even onto Falcon playing this Mei, who's been a big nuisance. Hydrax doesn't have his ultimate just yet, but the point is being captured. Thritley back towards spawn, has to hurry back here. It comes down to the backing of Ace Palm if he can pick up these kills, and most importantly take down Hydax, and he does that just now. It's going to be a Diva coming in out of Kunhuta. There's an Earth Shatter, going to be landing across the enemy team. Lestron with a perfectly timed ultimate is able to turn the tides of this one and maintain the point for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that Transcendence couldn't have came out at a better time. The good news for Austria is that they got 2 ticks on the point, so they have... It should be relatively more simple for them to take the capture now. But that Transcendence coming in, saving the Diva, and also setting up, I think it was Lestron on the Earth Shatter, they got the picks they needed. Every kill that you get on defense when you're doing those trickle spawns is ginormous, and it's very good for them that they were able to hold. A little unfortunate, and I think, well, it was a well-executed push, but you can see the timings on the Mei was able to delay, the Zenyatta was able to delay, the Diva was able to delay, and that's one of the tells. That's one of the playing. That's something you have to play around on these 2 CP maps.
Now Thritley again back towards the backside, looking for Darreneko's able to secure the kill to him. Falcon as well, already low on HP here as the push is finally going to come in. And look at the ultimates Austria has ready to go here. Falcon is looking to delay, but he's being focused on himself. Even Mercy somehow picks up a kill, and Earthshatter coming through with Thritley again towards the back line. He's trying to take down Darreneko. He's trying to eliminate the Zenyatta, which he does a second time, but he blinks into a self-destruct out of Diva. He gets taken down. Our Ace Palm is pretty much left as one of the last remaining DPSs for the side of Austria. And again, the Czech Republic have done it. They've held on here, even with the Graviton Surge out of Watt in the last second with his team no longer there was a little bit of a misplay. But Czech Republic, they hold strong.
Yeah, I actually thought that push was going well for Austria. Thritley actually got in the back and sniped the Zenyatta really early on, and he was pretty much unchecked. Like, they don't have a McCree, there's nothing really to kill him on the side of the Czech Republic, but he blinked into that Diva ult, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Kind of hard to, I guess where it's going to be as well when you're trying to play Tracer. But he's on 11 health. He's just going to have to back away here. But, you know, Mei, we're seeing a hell of a lot more of her lately in competitive play, and even in tournaments as well with the recent changes to her. Maybe Falcon can kind of show us why. As a charge, he'll be coming out of Bomb, he picks up an initial kill, 50% on his ultimate, and he's just swinging away, allowed to get so much extra charge off the back of this Hydax. Gets a good res off, gets pretty much the majority of his team back alive, but Ivanhoe and Kunhuta, unfortunately, not able to get a piece of that one. And Bomby Earth Shatter, 3% left to go. He's going to be frozen up from the backside, gets a charge off, and this pretty much could end the fight here. If this Earth Shatter hits enough people, this could completely give them the second point cap as they do secure the kills left and right. And it's pretty much up to this Diva to hold on somehow.
Yeah, this Ace Palm McCree's been doing so much work on this push. Between him and Thritley on the Tracer, like they got the picks they needed. They actually didn't have any ults going into that fight. They just got them as the fight went on. But then the Tracer from Thritley actually got, I think, a kill on the Zenyatta again on the way in. So it really destroys your defenses when one of your supports is dead. It puts a lot of pressure on your second support, which in this case is the Mercy. And you don't even have, if you can't get the res off, or if the res is poorly timed, which it has to be because you need to get it off, then you wind up in a position like they were, where they actually had res for that defense, but they couldn't abuse it because the Mercy had to do way too much healing just to keep the fight in their favor at all. So a really big play from Ace Palm and a lot of really big plays from Thritley on those pushes. They put themselves in a good position, 331 to work with, still a very good time. And considering that their Mercy had disconnected on their defense, I think that they're going to feel a lot more confident for this second round.
Yeah, now they're going to be attacking first as well, since they did have the least amount of time remains. So they have to do it yet again here in a row. But as you pointed out, Thritley, I mean, after the initial attack he did, where he got caught down by Ivanhoe and completely destroyed, he played an extremely good game. He was able to constantly be a nuisance to Dereneko on the Zenyatta, who was forced to even switch over to Lucio towards one of the last defenses out of him. So this man has been definitely abusing the routes that you've been talking about, the backdooring so far on this map. And I didn't really catch too much of Ace Palm, but I'll be a little bit more aware of him this one on this push, as we'll spec him a little bit more.
He's just always alive is the thing. Like, they're not dealing with him at all, and he just keeps finding himself in these positions where he's able to take his left clicks like for free. They're actually going to hold up on this upper ledge. This is one of the holds I think that we saw this in, I want to say it was one of the ESL group stages where teams were trying this setup. They didn't feel confident in holding the lower ground, and this is different, and we'll see how they respond to it on the side of Austria.
I guess Thritley, a lot of opportunity to actually push behind them, not to mention he's on the point already, just to kind of maybe tag it, maybe pull them off this point, because he's going to have the ability to dodge away from a hell of a lot of damage. And, Falcon on the Hanzo hasn't been able to hit too many shots so far, finally connecting, I believe, his first one. But the point, it's still being captured. They've been able to force now the Sean to drop down towards the low ground. But in response, Austria, they went to the high ground themselves. They basically traded places with the enemy team.
Yeah, it was a little, I mean, it looks like they're going to fail on this defense, but the reason why is because they played this high ground comp, but then the Tracer forced them onto the point. And then you saw, like, I think 3 people, like, I think it was like 2 of the tanks fell off the point, and then it just left the Tracer or the Mercy and the Zenyatta up on the high ground for Thritley to come in from behind. Facepalm dropped, or not Facepalm, Ivanhoe dropped down to try to deal with Thritley, but then they didn't have a McCree up on the upstairs anymore, and then Thritley just came in and did his work. Yeah,
Ace Palm as well, but was able to sit on the high ground for the majority there to actually do a lot of damage to the tanks, to the Sean at least in particular. But they've lost Thritley, who's going to now have Pulse Form available. They're going to have Graviton Surge relatively soon, but they have the Transcendence most importantly, and they have the Deadeye out of Ace Palm. You look on the side, currently of the Czech Republic, and they're hoping for that Graviton Dragon Strike combo, but it's just not there yet. Canute's only at 60% on his ultimate.
The good thing for them, though, is that fight was actually just over, Like, there was no like healing, nobody healed. Like, you can see the ults still coming in right now for Austria, even though they won that fight. But because the fight was so short, their ults weren't built as much as they possibly could have. So that's a really good thing if you're the Czech Republic right now. This Dragon Strike might slow them down. It looks like they're going to get the res at some point, as Thritley actually goes in and kills the McCree. Oh, that's a big res.
Yeah, Hydax gets actually, I think, 3 people back alive, but Thritley's still alive towards the back, so they try to take down this High Noon coming to Ivanhoe. He's able to secure the kill on Azazel, drops down onto point, but he's by himself, and now Ace Palm again, as you pointed out, is just not being dealt with for the most part, but he's lost out on his front line. He's lost the people to help keep him alive, but somehow Mercy and Thritley do turn this one back around. They're looking to get back on point yet again. Hydax, it's a little bit too far pushed up. The flashbang is going to miss by Falcon as he's able to dodge away from this one, and it looks like the Czech Republic have been able to defend yet again.
And that's one of those fights where you have to hit that flashbang or you're just going to lose. And we see the power right now of the Mercy Tracer. It's not a composition that you see very often, because 9 times out of 10 you'll be healing your McCree, you'll be healing your Reaper, maybe your Reinhardt. But a pocketed Tracer is actually super scary. Damage boost, you get the headshots, you get the blinks, you get the heals, and you miss that flashbang, you don't have any way to deal with him.
Well, speaking of that, look at Canuta. Actually switched over from the Zarya to Roadhog for a little bit more kill potential onto Ace Palm or to Thritley, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think he had used the Graviton and just felt like he needed to get on a hero that would have an ult a little bit faster, or just, they need to go now, Like, there's not that much time on their side. They need to get in right now, get their kills, and play this fight the best that they can.
You can see Thritley again, he's trying to focus down on a Hydax. He's able to pick up the kill with the help of Watt here. And now it's just the entirety of the Czech Republic falling one by one. The Transcendence out of Dereneko. Maybe coming a little bit too late here, but Thritley's been able to dodge for the most part on Ivanhoe, who has that Deadeye available, but doesn't have the opportunity to use it because he's being focused by so many men. What? He has Graviton Surge now available. He can keep him off this point for the most part as long as they can secure these last couple of kills. But Falcon, with pretty much no HP, was able to survive that one, able to turn around a lot of damage onto the side of Austria and hold yet again. We're down to 20 seconds left to go here, Flame. This is the last attack out of Austria.
Yeah, that was well played actually from Austria. They went in, they didn't burn any ults, and they baited out a lot from the side of Czech Republic. They need to get this res out right now on Hydax. Like, if that's really the only way that they hold here. Because if you look at the side of Austria, they're sitting on 5, about to be 6 ults. Lucio should be able to get the Transcendence during this, or not the Transcendence, drop the beat during this fight.
And they're looking for the Graviton Surge Pulse Bomb combo, but Ivanhoe picks up 2 major kills with his Deadeye. It shuts down the entirety of the combo that was going to be coming out of Austria, and now Thirdly, basically the last man alive on his team, trying to hold on to the point, and they will be shut down. They will not secure the last point onto the second attack. And now the Czech Republic, they're looking at this as all we have to do is secure these 2 points, and we'll be up 1-0 here in this best of 3.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That High Noon got way too much value. That the 2 kills on both the tanks with both of their ults still up, and it really, you can see the effects of that right there. They still had the Graviton, they still had the Earth Shatter, and they weren't able to use either. That was a ridiculously well-timed and well-executed High Noon from Ivanhoe.
And you can see, I think it was he was trying to hold on to his Graviton Surge to catch Hydax, so he couldn't actually use a potential revive. But because he held on to it so long, it gave so much free reign to Ivanhoe. And you can't, obviously, let something like that happen. And that was a fantastic play out of that man there. Now we're going to be seeing a little bit of a switch-up, though. Falcon going to be back on Genji. We did see him do it on the first attack. Wasn't extremely successful because the rest of his team was able to just somehow, I think it was the pincer move, right? They actually like sent half their team across the way, and then when we saw Austria group up to attack, they just attacked from both ends and was able to get the first attack successfully onto the point.
Yeah, the good news, I think, here from Austria is that they felt good on their defense. You know, like, they only lost because of the disconnect,
right.
or that might be how they feel, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a tie here. But this defense needs to be good, and they need to try to set somewhat of a respectable time for this first point defense, because you don't want to wind up in a position where you're defending last for 4 minutes. Their comp's pretty safe, though. Both teams running a pretty safe comp. This Falcon Genji is probably going to be the difference maker in whether or not their offense is able to execute, as they're not opting for the Tracer. Neither team is opting for the Tracer right now.
Well, we're pairing in with Falcon just to see how he's going to go about this attack here. He's going to be able to get across successfully. You don't want to have that happen where you fail it, especially when it's caught on stream. But now, directly behind the enemy team, he's able to already spot out onto Mercy, take him down about half HP, and now this has forced the response out of Austria to actually back away and have a little bit of a confused front. They don't have a united front line to attack here.
Yeah, Ace Palm actually got really over-eager there, and he went to go kill that Genji, but as he pushed up, the rest of the Czechs, they just came right in and killed him. He got stuck in that house by himself, and now this should be a really easy push for them. Yeah,
Austria just fine by the wayside here, and Watch is trying to build up some crucial ult percent coming to this next attack as he's up to 65% actually. And you look at Kanhuta, who's the opposing Zarya for the Czech Republic, he only has 30%, going on 40. So
yeah, that
advantage is
really
kind of in favor of Austria.
By them, actually. He's at 70, and the Mercy got from, I think, from 50 all the way up to 85 now. So even though the Mercy's respawning, she's going to have res, I would assume, by the time that this fight is over.
Not sure, so hope so if you guys are an Austria fan out there, because they're going to try to have to hold this one for 4 minutes of time. Thirdly, on the Reaper, actually, trying to be behind the enemy team, and this could be the big turning point for them as well. 50% is ultimate, yes, but they've not been able to really spot him out, and they somehow kill LeSean through the Transcendence. Mercy now has res available as well. Falcon with Dragon Blade up and ready to go, but he's not going to pop it, or does he? He goes straight in with it. He's looking to take down the McCree, able to secure the kill on Ace Palm, looking for some more, though, and he's looking to chase down onto Watt, but he's not able to secure anything past that one. And even to break it down, cut the sound barrier out of Hydax, realizing they want to finish this, and they want to finish it now, but Mercy with the crucial res does get quite a few of his team members back alive. Watt does have Graviton Surge, but he's not committing it just yet because I think they feel confident enough to hold this fight without using it.
Yeah, Mercy actually, she used the res to save Bommy. Bommy played that fight ridiculously well, I want to point out. LeSean came in with a charge, he charged back, and then they wound up pinning each other, which means they both went to the floor, but then I think Watt bubbled Bommy at the perfect time, and you saw the Reaper come in and kill the Reinhardt through the Transcendence. That should not happen. I think LeSean would have gotten his Earth Shatter off if he hadn't, so that hold actually came down to that. And that Earth Shatter from Bommy at the end even forced out the drop the beat from Hydax, and now they just don't have that for this push. So really, really good tank play coming in from Bommy on this defense.
Well, there's a Graviton Surge yet again. There's really no defense support ultimates to come out of the side of the Czech Republic, and so far Austria are looking good here. But Falcon again, he has his Dragon Blade ready to go. He does pop it right away, but he doesn't have the opportunity to pick up any kills. No one is even low on this side so far for Austria, has immediately been able to be forced back. So there we go. Austria, after not being able to defend that first point on the first attack, able to at least defend 2 times in a row here on the second point to potentially put it into a tie. And keep in mind, guys, we actually can have ties. I'll explain into that a little bit more if we do get to that situation, because we still have 2 minutes left of time for the Czech Republic to potentially take this map.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that he shouldn't have used Dragon Blade on that first push, but he had it again for the second push. So he's actually farming these Dragon Blades pretty ridiculously fast. Right now, the Mercy has res, the Reinhardt still has Earth Shatter. It's going to come down to Bommy and Mercy right now if they can hold.
Well, you can see Mercy towards the backside. He's actually trying to stay safe, knowing that they're going to have to potentially use a revive here, but they haven't lost too many people. Ivanhoe's finally able to pick up 2 kills. Mercy is waiting on the sideline for that res. He's going to pop it, and luckily for him, the rest of his team is able to survive as well. But Ivanhoe, what else is this man got? He's just around the side. He's looking for that Reaper, and him and Kahunta is able to take down 3, but they've already lost out on 3, now 4 men. And again, Austria are going to hold here. Somehow, the Czech Republic just can't break this defense.
Yeah, Mercy is playing like a Genji right now. The Falcon came in from behind and tried to kill Mercy. It was insane. The Mercy came, the Genji flanked around, the McCree went to go kill the Genji killed the McCree and then found Mercy. The Mercy actually just wound up dodging around, gets a 3-man res off, and then just flies back and forth between her teammates. They still have not killed her. Every time that they go in, they're trying to prioritize that kill first, but they're unable to get it just because of really good positioning and really good awareness of where the enemy team is.
Well, the Soundbird of Hydax, not to mention the Deadeye coming of Ace Palm, who just doesn't get punished. He takes out his counterpart Ivanhoe, but Falcon again seems to always have this Dragon Blade ready to go. The Soundbird's being popped as well to keep Ace Palm alive, but it's just not going to be enough. There's the ground to search to pull them all together, but where's the backup? What else is coming out of Austria to defend this one? And Thready's able to take down 1 kill, now 2, yes, but he's basically left by himself. But Mercy again stays alive in the back of the fight, gets a huge res off to the entire team, and this is going to be another successful hold.
Yeah, she's changing her positioning every fight. We saw her in the back corner towards the spawn in the first fight, and then that second fight right there, she was actually up in that upper left room, I don't know what to call it, where the control panel is, and they just could not find her. She got res during that fight, she healed up the Zarya stayed alive, and the 2 of them together just held that fight together. The positioning out of this Mercy is actually winning them these defensive holds, and you could see that they're getting frustrated on the side of the Czech Republic. They're switching now to the Tracer. They need to kill this Mercy. If the Tracer Genji Winston can't do it, I don't know what comp is going to.
Well, Ace Palm just took down Falcon as well a few seconds before, so that delays Falcon from joining this fight, which means they have to go in 5v6. Kunhunta's just looking for the man to jump onto, and it's going to be Ace Palm, but the Transcendence is being used to buy them a lot of time, a lot of extra HP here. And Threatley now with the Deadeye, or not the Deadeye, the Death Boss is going to pick up 2 quick kills. And without any res coming through, I think this is going to be it. Mercy has res now. Zazu's only meant to die, and that's just a Lucio. And we're going to have a tie game here on Volskaya.
Yeah, they played through that really well. I think if they could go back in time, there wasn't really much of a difference if you think about it in terms of the outcome. I'm not sure that they would have held the first point, but you never know. It was just that they could not deal with the Mercy. That positioning was just incredible, and she always had res for every fight. There were so many Dragon Blades, but there were just equally as many reses, and that's not something that happens, or not something that you see very often.
All right, so even, I guess the players are a little bit confused there too, but there is no tie, or sorry, there is no tiebreaker. What it means is neither team gets a point off of this one, or you technically get 1 point each, but it doesn't really matter in the end because you still have to play out the best of 3. Because you can't have a tie in the entire series. Since both teams tied on this map, let's just say Austria wins the next map and then Czech Republic win the third. Then you have a tie in the entire series, and that stays as a tie because you could potentially have tiebreakers coming into, I think it's early next week is when they're potentially going to be ran, since we still have to have all the matches played throughout today and the entire of the weekend. So Hollywood is going to be our next map. You've fallen off the chair again, so let me get you back up again. I wanted.
Must have to pay respects.
I couldn't find tape. Like, how bad is it? I can't find tape in this office. So I looked at a pin, but I didn't want to break the chair by stabbing it. So, but we'll have to deal with that one for now. Okay, I have to do some typing here to fill in the teams.
This map's going to be a very big pace setter, I would say, because I think the last map is what, Nepal? It's Koth, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Cert Control, rather. So whatever team wins this puts themselves in a very safe position, I would say, because there's no real threat of losing if you win this map. You know, like you can either tie, and that's the worst case scenario for you.
Right.
So both teams really need to bring out their best play for this specific map, because you do not want to take the loss after you get the tie on Volskaya.
And you have to also wonder, I think for Austria in particular, if Mercy did not disconnect in that first defense that they pulled off, could they have actually held for, I guess, a longer amount of time? You know, we saw the first point defense wasn't amazing, but their second point defense was definitely spot on.
Yeah, they looked like they were in control, I guess, when he did disconnect. It's just a matter of whether or not the pushes were going to come in. I think if you're Austria, though, you're beating yourself up a little bit for not finishing the second half. Like, they probably could have taken the second point if they had played it a little bit cleaner. They wound up losing with what, like the Graviton and the Earth Shatter still up. They were worried too much about the res. I think sometimes you just have to realize like the res is going to come out and you just have to accept it. If you commit too much resources to kill a Mercy and you don't get the Mercy, it's just a lost push immediately. So you're better off sometimes just baiting out the res and then taking another fight, which they were unable to do. But I don't know. The positioning also from a Graviton res is also not that ideal. You don't want your entire team respawning in a small 3x3 area where everyone's just still clumped afterwards. But you know, it's hard to say that the disconnect made the difference. It's just, it's unfortunate. And if you're them, you might feel a little bit robbed. So I think that they have a lot to prove right now on this Hollywood match.
So let me ask you, since a lot of people in chat are asking about the North American matches, is there any team that you have in mind that you're looking at as being, you know, the team to beat in the Americas?
I mean, USA looks strong. They have the most talent. I'm not sure, though. I haven't really seen what happened with the South American teams. I know Brazil has some good players, but I'm not sure if they're on the roster. I'm not, like, I haven't seen who got voted in.
Right.
But I know this USA team looks really good. Like, there's so many good teams, I think. Like, people came in and they were like, oh, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Like, there's casters on some teams, there's streamers, there's YouTubers. But you're seeing there's a lot of ways to make it work, you know? Like, this game doesn't come down to individual skill on every single level. There's a lot of teamwork. Players that listen can make the difference. Players that can lead well also make a huge difference. And it's interesting, too, to see that this tournament might not come down to the most individual skill, but just the most cohesion. And you don't need to be the best player to be really cohesive with your team. So
you just put them on
the United
support,
States looks
right?
strong on paper. There's been a little bit of banter with the Canadian team. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure that the Americas are going to be strong. But the Europe has a lot of really, really strong rosters.
Yeah, I think Finland, Sweden, Germany are definitely the teams that we're looking to see go through. Even the CIS and Balkan has some ridiculously good players, as Voltaja, I think, is the captain over there for that one. And I think even Team Russia has a pretty damn good roster, if I'm not mistaken, as well, with, I think, Unfixed on the team from Reunited. But it looks like we are going to be dropping into Hollywood now, so we can switch into this one and see how this game kicks off. Remember, it's technically a tie between the two teams on that first map, so no team is technically in the lead at the moment. But what it does mean is we're guaranteed to go to the third map of Nepal. And as you pointed out, Flame, if you win this map, you pretty much have a minimum of a tie. So you're definitely in a good place if you can just sneak by on Hollywood. Yeah,
we saw there Zazzle's thought about playing the Symmetra. I guess they told him not to for whatever reason. I don't hate it on this map. I think that the Lucio is just a safer pick, though. They're running a very standard comp for maybe like closed beta patches, actually. We used to see the Mercy Lucio on this map in general, or just the Mercy in general. But McCree Reaper has always been strong. Zari has always been strong. This is a very safe composition. There's not much to say. It's just you need to make it work. There's a set playstyle. You need to keep your Reaper alive with the bubbles. You need to keep your Reinhardt shield up, protect your Mercy, contain high ground with the McCree, and that's pretty much the story of Hollywood. This offense is going to be a little different, though. You're seeing the Winston Tracer come out, and that comp is very all-in. I would expect Ivanhoe maybe to switch up, go something like a Genji. It's going to be very hard to get work done on the McCree without a Reinhardt shield in front of you.
Yeah, I think the one problem Czech Republic has, though, is that Falcon's the one playing Tracer and Genji. I don't know if Ivanhoe can really kind of play Genji at a level that they need to, unfortunately for the team, but he's going to be switching to it, so maybe I'm actually wrong here.
I know that I was right.
Well, I know having a hero pool, a set hero pool, is kind of hard. Like, some people cannot play Tracer Genji, but you know, on Reaper McCree they'll do really well, so they can't really run, I guess, maybe the comps they want to. But nonetheless, Czech Republic going to be on the attack here. We did have a tie in the first match. Just remind you guys, if you are tuning in, and Ivanhoe going to be trying to help Winston, help LaShawn actually get into the back line here. As he's looking straight for Ace Palm, but he's being healed up by Mercy, and that's a little bit too tough to actually take him down. But with the back of a Tracer, it might just be enough.
When you play this comp, you need to go. Like, there's no backing out, and you're seeing them back out right now. I think that's a mistake. You want to go in with the Winston. You want to bubble the Winston. You want your Tracer in with the Winston. You want your Genji in with the Winston. Just try to get the kills that you can get. But Mercy, being a ninja again, doesn't take much damage. 70% ult now on the res. And every bit of damage they do now is just helping that Mercy charge. So they're going to have to fight into a res, I would imagine, for the next fight, which is not something you want. And I think that they need to be a little bit more committed on this next push.
Well, speaking of that, they actually dropped the Winston to switch LaShawn over to Reinhardt here. So he's going to be behind 0%, actually 40% behind Bomby so far. And he's looking for the charge, but he's just not going to be able to hit it here as Bomby's able to take down a kill and keep the rest of the team, the backup of LaShawn, nowhere near to be seen. So a little bit of a switch up there, still keeping the Tracer. Genji not working out so far for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, they're getting a little flustered. I mean, this isn't like this comp doesn't have much cohesion. The Genji, Tracer, Reinhardt. Like you have a Reinhardt, but what's really staying behind the shield? Now they're gonna switch it up. They're switching up. They're getting the McCree now. They're just switching back to Reinhardt McCree. The Genji Winston didn't work for them. Falcon's going to be the X factor here if he can get in the back and get some picks with the Tracer, but it's really hard to flank because if they see you go around back, they know you're there, and there's not really much for you in ways of surprise. They need to kill this Mercy, though. If Mercy gets reses off, I could see them holding this indefinitely.
Oh, this Graviton Surge could come up big for Watt because they're all grouped up. He's going to get a 6-man Graviton Surge. The Transcend's going to be used, and not to mention, both Reinhardt charge into each other, but there's the Earth Shatter to back it up with. It's going to keep him locked down for a while, even after the Transcendence is done. But Falcon's been able to pick up a kill on Ace Palm. Mercy's been taken out as well when he had res available, and so far, the Czech Republic, off the back of that attack, after getting caught up by so many ultimates, are going to successfully take the point.
Yeah, that was massive. I talked about it before. Falcon needed to do something. He was the X factor. If they could kill the Mercy, they win the game. And they forced out Zazzle's drop the beat with that push, and then they didn't have any way to keep Mercy alive because I think the rest of the team had gotten earth shattered, or there was a charge fight going on in the back alley. But Falcon just wrapped around through the cafe and killed the Mercy, and no res came out. And that's really that's been always like the heel in the side of, or the thorn in the side of Mercy's, is if you don't get the reses off, you just feel like you didn't contribute to that fight. And I think that they were in a really good position to hold, actually, if that res came out. But Falcon came in, did what he had to do, and now they're setting themselves up good for a Streets phase.
I'm just honestly amazed that Czech Republic did not completely get wiped out when they got 6-man Graviton, or 5-man Graviton, because we saw Falcon get away, and then Earthshadow off the back of that. It just blows my mind. But in the meantime, we do see an aggressive push out of Austria. They're the ones that engaged this fight, but they've lost out on 5 men. Now Mercy's going to come in with fantastic res. What has Graviton, so just going to pull them all together? Yes, but what do they really have to solidify these kills? It's another Earthshadow. That's what it's going to be. Bombing knocks them down quite hard, and Falcon is still trying to do some work in towards the backline as a Transcendence is going to be used out of Darren Echo, as they're going to finally be able to push through. Watt is still looking to take down these players on the enemy team, but he's just not able to secure any kills just yet because they're able to stay together, stay cohesive. They have the healing to deal with this damage, and now he's pretty much put behind the entirety of the enemy team, and now he's going to be even delayed on the respawn.
Yeah, Lestrand's positioning's been incredible. You saw that they tried to get the res off there, but they're resing into the enemy spawn. So every pick that they got was just countered by an instant spawn coming out from the offense. And if your Mercy dies getting the res off, that's not an ideal play. They kind of just left the Mercy up on the second roof on an island. I think they needed a way for that Mercy to get out so that they could have the heals through the fight. But once that Transcendence came out, there was no way for the Czechs, or from the Austrians, to really deal with it.
You see Threatly as well. He's trying to look for a Death Blossom here, but he doesn't have the opportunity because they've been able to spread out just enough to keep him vulnerable, as he's going to take down 1 man on a Falcon, yes, but the rest of the team, will it be there in time to actually help them survive? Mercy has res yet again, able to actually get away from the Graviton Surge for a split second, get a 2-man res up onto Watt, and a bomb me again. This man always has Earthshatter up and ready to go. He's not going to use it this time, though, because they realize we've been able to successfully defend this one, and now they're starting to build up some time.
Yeah, I thought that Kunhuda should have kept the Graviton Surge there, but he actually got it off, and it forced out the res from Mercy. So this next push might be a little bit easier for them in the fact that they don't have to worry about the res at all. I like this comp that they have. They're running the Reinhardt McCree. I don't generally like it on the Streets phase, but once the cart gets to this point, the roofs aren't as important anymore. It's all about getting through that saloon and getting around to the cart by the jail. So playing the ground game is a massive part of this. Falcon's going to go down, and that's not ideal. They're going to have to reset.
Yeah, speaking of the ground versus air game, I'm a little bit surprised to not see any Pharah being played, actually, because Pharah can really excel at this part of the map, especially with kind of where the payload is sometimes, if you can get control of that saloon. But in the meantime, with Falcon already going down to Ace Palm, they're forced to just regroup, and now themselves are going to take the elevator to get the high ground off the back of Kunhuta, who's been forced back immediately by 3D, playing that Reaper on the high.
Yeah, if they can get roof control, which is what they might want to do here. Right now, the team is pretty split up on the side of Austria. They have 3 people on the roof, 3 people on the floor.
Ace Palm. Ace Palm. He gets a double kill. The shield's able to block out onto the last 2 men that were there, but that's just going to be a clean wipe. And sorry to interrupt you there, but they didn't even pay attention to where this man was coming from.
Yeah, that's just really good positioning. The good news is they got rid of the Graviton. They got rid of, I want to say, the High Noon.
Yep.
So they're going to be able to push in here with, they're close to Earthshadow. They have the drop, or they don't have, they're close to drop the beat. They have the trans. If they can get the trans off and kill Mercy before the fight starts, they'll be in a really good position. They really need to take control of this roof, though, because if Mercy sits up here, there's not really much they have in ways of dealing with her. They're going to have to take the elevators. They don't have the best high ground comp. That's exactly what we're seeing.
They're trying to take the elevators, but Threatly here in this position has been able to at least be a nuisance. He's going to be forced back, yes. He's going to be able to Wraith form and get away here. And not to mention, ultimates are starting to build up here on the side of the Czech Republic. Falcon, he has his pulse one ready to go, but he's looking for Mercy, who now has a res. He's been able to spot him out here. Mercy has to be extremely sneaky as you see him sitting on the other side of the wall, forcing Falcon to come to him if they want to force this engagement. But now Bombi, with that Earth Shatter able to come through, not able to use it just yet. Still actually just backing away as they baited out the Transcendence. He hits it onto a key target, but Ivanhoe off to the side. He connects a two-man Deadeye again, just like he did on Volskaya. Eventually, yes, he will fall, but they've been able to pick up the kills they needed. Mercy went down again. And this will be the payload crossing the second checkpoint and finally putting some time back on the board.
Yeah, Falcon doing exactly what he needs to. He knows his job. His job is kill Mercy, make Mercy you have to worry. Mercy actually got chased out of that back room and flew right into a high noon. There was no real escape for her there. She could have maybe lived, but that high noon was really well timed in conjunction with the chasing in from the Tracer. And now you're going to see them, again, like, you don't get the res off, you don't hold the point. And that's all it takes for them. They just need to prioritize this Mercy. The cart's still moving. They don't have a lot of time, and this next push is going to be really reliant on a really good Graviton from Canuta, as well as trying to get the Mercy before the fight's over. Falcon's got a tall order on his hands.
Yeah, speaking of Canuta, he's actually looking for this one as well. He's trying to spot out with the help of Falcon where exactly this Mercy is. Falcon, again, on the high ground, is able to at least maintain his position, though we do see Ace Palm with the X-Ray coming up to actually challenge out on this one. He's immediately going to back away, but now conceding the high ground, it allows Mercy so much free reign, so much potential to go in for a revive if they do need it. But the payload has finally gotten to a crucial point here. You see now both teams trying to actually poise for position to control this one, and Falcon is still looking for that crucial, that juicy target. He's finally able to spot it out. He knows exactly where to go, but he also has a McCree. He hits the sticky. Ace Palm's going to go down, but again, Mercy, they have res advantage here. Austria, they're not too worried about that.
This cart can't stop moving is the thing. It's at 18 seconds. This next fight is everything. Lashrine kills Bombi, massive kill. You don't want to have to res your Reinhardt here, especially when the McCree hasn't spawned. I'm not sure how this is going to go, honestly. They're getting a lot of value out of these ults.
And Watt actually backed away just to make sure he can hit a good Graviton surge as Bombi and Threadly is able to combine together with the help of the res and the Earth Shatter to close this one out. That's going to be the entirety of the Czech Republic being wiped out. And Austria, they have held in distance. So now, if Austria does pass this line, they'll be up 1-0 in the series, going into the final map in Nepal, where we could see them take the victory, or we still could potentially see a tie if Czech Republic are able to come back. Technically, we could have had a tie here as well if they didn't capture both teams didn't capture the point.
Tying on this would be almost impossible, right?
Well, now it is. So if neither team captures the point initially, then we could have had a tie. But luckily, that didn't happen. I don't even know what happens when you have two ties. Oh, because then it turns into a best of one, right?
Yeah, it's just the best of one. At that point, then someone's going to win because it's Koth.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Falcon really went in deep on that McCree. He got the sticky off, but it wasn't good enough. Like, you don't want to have to trade the Tracer for the McCree in that situation because you need to get the Mercy. Like, all you have to worry about is that Mercy, and they couldn't really find her. She was up on that upper ledge. You don't want to go up there as Tracer because if the McCree is waiting for you, you're fighting in a hallway, and it's an easy flashbang to kill you. The Graviton came out from Canuta, and it didn't get that many people, but the people that did get it, it wasn't really that big of a deal because they still had the res to back up anyone that died inside of it. Their hand was kind of forced. Their time wasn't as good as I think they wanted it to be, and they didn't have a lot of time to play with on that last stage, so they did what they had to do. They got the cart pretty far, and it's really going to come down to their defense now.
And we're seeing it looks like Mercy playing Ana, actually. So Mercy's going to have an Ana boost. Like Mercy had Transcendence before. I know that's fun for us to say. And they also have Bombi on Roadhog and Watt over on the Reinhardt. So not running Zarya this time, but you talked about this before, right? You talked about why Hanzo and Roadhog could be so key on this initial attack for Hollywood.
Yeah, the two heroes together just have a lot of synergy. The sonar arrow just gives you the wall hacks, and when you have the wall hack, it sets you up for easier hooks because you can turn a corner and like immediately hook somebody. The Hanzo also just gets you good picks. This Falcon Junkrat's probably going to be the decider of whether or not their defense is good. Like, Junkrat's very risky in general on this point because either you hit all your pipes or you hit none of them, and all the damage that you're doing is going to be charging this Ace Palm Zarya. So I would expect this push to come in once the Ana has ult, but if they can get a pick early with the Hanzo arrows or with the Roadhog hooks, then they'll be in a really good position for their offense.
They're actually running a triple tank here for Austria. They have Ace Palm, who was playing the McCree, like you just pointed out, playing the Zarya, and Bombi and Watt on Roadhog and Reinhardt. So the triple tanks would be really hard for them to really work around, and not to mention Threadly ideally should have so much free reign here. He gets Falcon down immediately. He gets a headshot, then the follow-up regular body shot, and that's a man down. They're not going to have res anytime soon here, and so far this first attack here for Austria is looking good.
Yeah, the strength of the comp is also the weakness. Like, sometimes the Hanzo doesn't do anything, and sometimes you get picks like that. it just sets them up. A lot of their damage is gone. Like, you're really relying on that Junkrat to get the damage in, and you have these 3 tanks that are now fighting up against Zarya. Zarya has a really hard time dealing with tanks, especially ones that are Ana boosted.
Yeah, and I guess that's a second source of damage here. If the Hanzo doesn't work out with a Reinhardt just holding left click, not too hard to pull that one off. And Threatly is going off. He picks up a double kill, even with the help of the scatter there in the last few seconds. And that first point will be taken on the first attack, so a fantastic start here for the side of Austria. Remember, all they have to do is get past 64.16 meters after the second point. And that's definitely doable, considering how quickly they took point 1.
Yeah, this comp is really hard to deal with as a defense. You're seeing them, they still have the Mercy. You're running against like 3 tanks, you probably need a Zenyatta, but do you want to switch your Mercy right now when she has res? Not really. Do you want to switch off your McCree? It's hard. Like, there's not much you can do against this. This Ana ulted Winston's going to come in, and even the Reaper's going to have a hard time killing it. This comp is scary, and I think that teams are going to have to learn how to play against it as the tournament evolves, because it's going to keep coming back to this. This Austria team ran this before against Serbia, and it just demolished them. Right now, you're probably going to see the same thing come out of them.
Not to mention, they're going to have the Dragon Strike Graviton Surge combo available in just a few seconds here, and Bombi able to help chime in, able to go in really deep to give him, I guess, a little bit more cover. But it looks like the engagement's going to be coming out. The Ground Surge is going to be used, but Ivanhoe actually takes down Threatly immediately, preventing any sort of combo to be used. And not to mention, Ace Palm's going to go down by Ivanhoe, who again picks up 2 more kills with the Deadeye. So Czech Republic will hold. Good job by them to pick up the initial kill, and more importantly, to Ivanhoe to secure Threatly immediately, so he's going to have a chance to pull off this combo. But now, they're going to have it up anyways, and they already committed a couple of ultimates just to make that first defense work.
Yeah, Watt switching off the Reinhardt now to go D.Va. I think he used the Earthshire a little too early, but I think they're realizing they need to get some roof control against this comp. Having a massive tank comp is kind of hard to run, I guess, in general on streets because you don't get the high ground advantage. And we saw that High Noon come in and do a lot of work from Ivanhoe. So if they can keep getting these High Noons off, they'll be in a good position. But if you're on the Czech Republic right now, you don't really want to jump on the cart because it's scary down there. You have to deal with a Winston, you have to deal with a D.Va, you have a Zarya, you might get Scatter Arrow. There's so much to worry about that this is gonna be a very tough fight for them to take.
Oh no, Threatly, he's looking for Darren Echo, and he does pick up the kill, yes, so there's no potential res, but he could have had a huge kill with the Dragon Strike coming across the enemy team. But again, he's just sitting towards the back. No one's dealing with him, and he's hitting his shots left and right. He's still sitting on that Dragon Strike. Even Mercy's gonna have Nano Boost available, but not used as Ivanhoe. Somehow, did he just pull a 180 and take down Mercy immediately?
Ivanhoe actually just went nuts. That between him and the, I don't even know how they won that fight. The Falcon dropped the Death Blossom and it completely got eaten by Watt's damage matrix or defense matrix, and then I'm pretty sure Ivanhoe just ran around in circles getting kill after kill. Hanzo was up on the roof, didn't get much done after he killed the Mercy, and you kind of just trade your Mercy for the Hanzo there, but I could not. If they ran that fight 5 times, I can't imagine them winning it more than once. That was insane.
I was gonna say, is somehow Pine playing for the Czech Republic at this rate? Man, if you hasn't seen him off Luxury Watch on the Korean team over the Ghost of Gamers over the weekend, had some amazing play on Hollywood. In the meantime, Threatly is trying to do work still on this Hanzo. He still has Dragon Strike available and hasn't used it, but the problem is he doesn't have anything to combo with, and it looks like Austria have given up the triple tank combo to run Ace Palm back on McCree. I'm gonna grab the Surge being used out of Kunhuta. Pulls an Ace Palm, at least you just secured the kill onto him. Doesn't get as much value as maybe you wanted to. And Obama being Nano Boost is actually able to do some decent work here towards the back and take down Kunhuta immediately. But where's his team? It's all dead. Ivanhoe again has just gone big.
Yeah, I thought that Graviton Surge was a little bit bizarre, but it kind of makes sense. Like, they didn't have a way to deal with that roof, you know? Like, the McCree got up there, they saw him, and they had no heroes. They have no heroes that can get up there. If their heroes aren't already on the roof, they're not getting to the roof. You're going to see them switch now to this Winston. They switched off the Hanzo. That Dragon Blade, or that Dragon Arrow just came through, and that was just him saying, all right, I'm switching off the hero. He wants to get on roof control. They can't be blowing Gravitons to deal with McCree's. And that's pretty much the thought process here as he's going to switch on. And the defense is looking really good for them. They still have res. These Ana ults haven't been getting a lot of value, and they're kiting them really well with this, what's it called, with the Lucio.
Yeah, the speed amp doing a fantastic job. Even though it's been nerfed, it's been able to keep them away. And Kunhuta now actually playing on Winston instead of the Zarya before is able to actually put a lot more pressure on. And Ivanhoe, again, every time this man picks up kills, I'm never spectating him. It's really frustrating me. But he picks up 2 kills on a Bombi and a Mercy. That's the tank and one of the supports now down. And you can already see Austria immediately backing away from this one. 1 minute and 15 left to go. Oh my God, Ivanhoe! He takes on Ace Palm with 2 pops to the head.
Too. This whole defense has just been, it's like scripted, like how well they're playing it. Ivanhoe actually popped the High Noon, and he would have died, but the bubble came out from Kunhuta on top of him at the perfect time, and it stopped Threatly's Tracer from just headshotting him down during the High Noon. And while he was getting shot out by the Tracer, he gets a double kill. they're playing around these spells really well. They're using their bubbles correctly, they're playing the high noons correctly, and they're using their drop the beats offensively on defense because they know that they have to take the fight to this Ana. If you let the Ana walk at you, you lose, you know? So like if they can force the Ana to pop the ult when she doesn't want to, it forces the nano boosts to come in at really unoptimal times, and you're seeing that right now.
Well, Darren Echo, he doesn't have res this time. His 3P are going to get pulled in immediately here, and they're looking for the kill on Ivanhoe, who's been such a big threat for them, but somehow he's not fallen. Finally, Watt's able to secure the kill into him, and Falcon trying to hold on to first team. He picks up a triple. He's going to get Earthshatter down. Darren Echo has res, but he got knocked on the ground. He's going to get a 4-man res off in the nick of time, and this is going to be the Czech Republic holding the point again. Why not focus the Mercy down in an Earthshatter?
I was about to talk about how they still had enough, how they had held it pretty well and they were going to be good for stage 3. But that res comes out, that could not have been closer. They should have lost there. That res came out, the death tossing got 3 people, max from Falcon and Darren Echo, and I can't imagine.
He had like 9 HP, Flame. He had like 9 HP while Earthshatter on the ground, and they were not able to finish him off. And I think he single-handedly, off the back of that, has just saved the Czech Republic and secured them a 1-map lead here in this best of 3 as they're going to be going over to Nepal.
They had nothing.
Wow.
I honestly thought the ults were going to be better. They weren't able to get much value out of them. I think they kept ulting the Reinhardt. They needed to get someone on that Mercy. If the Reinhardt never gets to the Mercy gets the res, and that's what we saw right there. That fight was almost too perfect of a mess to have, like, I cannot believe that Mercy just got
Please tell me that's the play of the game. Oh, it's not. Wow. Oh, I mean, I wish that was, like, that's my personal play of the game. This is actually a fight that they ended up losing, if I'm not mistaken, Austria.
It's my play of the game, but...
Oh man, Darren Echo. I mean,
he gets earth shattered. There's a Reaper on the ground next to him. They're swinging away. They didn't think the Mercy had res because she had used it in the past fight, so you think that it's not even on the table. And then suddenly she healed enough, 9 health, gets a 4-man res off. Like, you could not ask for a better value out of a res at a more clutch time. It puts them in a mass. I thought that they were looking a little bit weaker, to be honest with you, after the Volskaya match, but after that defense, like, anything can happen on these maps, and I think that that's really... This really puts a lot of pressure on both these teams for Li Zhang, because you might still feel robbed if you're on Austria after that disconnect on Volskaya, and then you have that crazy res come out. Like, the stars have aligned for the Czech Republic, and this is their game to win right now.
Honestly, I don't think we can even count that fully to like one play in particular, because yes, Darren Echo, he had a great res, but Ivanhoe, he was going off left and right with this McCree, and even the I think it was Kunhuta, yeah, playing the Winston at the end, as you pointed out. He bubbled right on top of Ivanhoe in the middle of a Deadeye to pick up 2 kills onto the enemy Reinhardt and Ana. So many great plays across the board for this team. And I mean, honestly, if we were to look at this, we came into probably this stage of the tournament expecting some stomps, but this has been a real crack of a match between these two teams.
Yeah, you could not ask for bigger plays from each of the individual players. That the Darren Echo on the res, you have Falcon with his bubble there, you had Ivanhoe with the high noons. Everyone's just playing really well, and it's nice to see, I guess. Like, these games, that game was probably one of the closer ones we'll probably ever see, just at least for the rest of the group stages, I would imagine. And I mean, you can't script a better story than that last fight.
I mean, we're talking up also the Czech Republic, but Austria as well had some great plays, not only in this series, but in the series before, particularly Mercy, as you put out on Volskaya, being very cognitive of where the enemy Genji was, where Falcon was trying to approach and take him down immediately, and the reses he had alone, even with the disconnect on the first half, the first quarter, whatever you want to call it, he still was able to play well, and Ace Palm has been having some great shots. Watt has been having, honestly, some really good graviton surges. There's been like maybe 1 or 2 questionable ones, but he's been consistently hitting like 4 or 5 people every time. I can't say anything bad with either of these teams. They're doing a phenomenal job across the board.
Yeah, they're all playing well. I think that the comp was a little... They were having trouble executing the Ana comp on the second phase. That, or you could just see, like, if Ivanhoe's hitting that many shots and just getting that many high noons off, it's very hard to play around. Like, when a McCree is having a really good game, you have to deal with him. And if you have to deal with a McCree now, you have to deal with that Mercy at the same time. Like, if you try to commit too much for the Mercy, you're not committing enough for the McCree. And the two of them together just put their team in like, the Czech Republic was in such a good position. Like, their backs were against the wall. They got rolled on the first point. Like, the point was gone, and before the fight even started, you saw that. I think it was
the Hanzo.
Ridley hit like a Hanzo arrow onto the Junkrat. The Junkrat dies. You lose your hold, and then they came right back swinging, and just massively perfect executions from the Czech Republic on that defense.
So now we're going to Nepal, right? And from what you've seen from these teams so far, who do you favor to win? Because, I don't know, I'm thinking about like the Genji Tracer we saw in the initial attack coming out of the Czech Republic, which it didn't really work out too well for them. Remember, because they had the Winston, then they switched up to the Reinhardt, then they switched the Tracer and the Genji away to like McCree, and I think they kept the Tracer, that was Falcon. When it comes to King of the Hill with the new meta, what do you expect to see? Who's going to be the stronger team here?
Watt looks like he's probably the better Zarya in this matchup, or he looks like he's playing more at a higher level, I would say. I can't tell. I mean, it's only been 2 games we've watched him, but if the Zarya has to come up huge, the Winstons have to come up huge, and Thritley on the McCree, or on the Tracer rather, if he can pull off the shenanigans he was able to do on their Volskaya pushes, on their Hollywood pushes, then he'll be the player to watch. But Falcon's been this X factor. Like, he plays the Hanzo, he comes in, he gets kills. He plays like he's just all over the place. He switched to the Winston on that last match. Like, he just does whatever he wants. So I'm not sure about the deathmatch of these two teams, but if Mercy is able to play Mercy at the level that she was playing on the, I think it was Volskaya, then like, how do you deal with that? Can you deal with that? And if Darren Echo is able to make clutch plays like he was in the last match, like, it's going to come down to which heroes have which teams have the better hero pools. But Ivanhoe's McCree, like, Nepal's a very McCree-centric map, I would say. Like, you wind up on Sanctum, it's indoors. You have to like deal with McCree at some point. The long-range headshots can do terrible damage. Even outside, if you can control the bridge on, I think it's the, what is it, the village?
Yeah, village.
You get a few headshots there. It's like their defense, if they can get the point, I think both these teams are really good at defending. I think that their offenses are where they're struggling. So I think this might actually just come down to which team wins the initial engagement, because they're both so good at holding on to their objectives. And
we've also seen that, you know, all 4 of the supports being played so far in both these teams, the 2 supports from each team, have been able to adapt really well. We're not seeing, you know, a certain support stay on one hero and one hero only, right? They're able to rotate between the Zen, the Lucio, the Ana, particularly for the Austrian team, and even Mercy in there. So when it comes to changing up what you need support-wise for King of the Hill, I think both teams are pretty set and ready to go for it.
Yeah, generally Mercy's a little riskier to run on King of the Hill unless you have like a really good Pharah or something. Yeah. I would expect a Lucio Zenyatta. Some teams like to run Ana on Koth. It's not unheard of. It's very good at delaying. If you can get the nuke off on the point, you stop the healing from the enemy team if they're trying to contest. If you drop it on the Winston stays alive forever, and then you have like an Ana ulted Winston that can now pop the Primal Rage, and then you have like 3 lives on this Winston essentially. It's a lot to deal with, but we'll see what happens. I expect just Tracer, McCree, Winston comps with the Zarya, but you never know. Reaper might come in.
Well, they changed sides on me, so now I have to go back here and alter all of the flags and everything. So if you want, feel free to talk about comps, because this is going to take me a little bit of time. Rough life being the producer.
So we are going to see a D.Va come out from the side of Czech Republic, which is a little different. It's good against the Winston. You have the armor mitigation is huge, but then it comes down to whether or not your shields come out from the Zaryas to keep you alive, and whether or not Watt can get good charge, because if Watt gets good charge, that D.Va just becomes a ult battery.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, as well, we did have one more game scheduled today. It was supposed to be Norway up against Portugal, but unfortunately, due to how long these games have gone, we had to actually let that game start, and we won't be able to cast it. So after this match, I believe we are done for the day, but we have a ton of matches to come up tomorrow. But either way, let's see. Czech Republic now on the blue side, Austria on the red side, and let's see which team will be taking this victory, or will we potentially have a tie if Austria can pick up this map?
I favor the comp coming out from Austria right now. They have the McCree. There's no McCree on the side of Czech Republic, which I think is a mistake, specifically on the Sanctum stage, as there's a lot of range to work with. They also are running the D.Va, which has a little bit of trouble on this stage too, as there's not that much room to play around. This is probably one of the less optimal stages to run a D.Va, but you know.
Well, at the moment, Watt's just trying to back away on point. Ernie has a Graviton Surge. He's going to pull them together as well. Gets the D.Va D-Suit in the midst of this one, and this is pretty much just solidifying this hold here as he's eventually going to fall, yes, but he's bought so much time for the rest of his team to get here. You got Ace Palm off to the side. Zazzle as well on the Zenyatta, who has Transcendence available, and even that last Reaper, Ivanhoe, just trying to hold on. But that will be the initial hold over to Austria. Remember, guys, this is a best of 5 on Nepal. This is not a best of 3. This is in the competitive rule set that you guys currently have in Season 2 of Comp. But now you have to look at here, Flame. Czech Republic, Kanuta, he has Graviton Surge up, and they have the Pulse Bomb combo ready to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be whether or not Mercy gets to drop the beat off to counter it. I still don't know if this comp's gonna work out for them. This res might come.
Well, the Transcendence was used, and Mercy did actually pop off the drop the beat, but it just was enough, and Bombi just seems to have fallen off as LeSean's just gonna follow him down to the depths of his death. And somehow Falcon's just still not being dealt with. He's proven to be a damn good tracer on Hollywood alone, and even on Volskaya, now he has Zazzle in his eyes, and that Zenyatta is gonna fall. And the point will be turned,
I was about to talk about how the Winston jumped off the map, but then the D.Va wound up jumping off the map as well. The two of them traded, but you're seeing Ace Palm just get a lot of work done with this McCree. He has not died, I don't believe, to this point, and he shouldn't really die. They don't have the best heroes to get up in his face. They don't have the best heroes to fight him at range. And I think that if, like, now that the Graviton's off the table, they should be in a really good position to defend this.
And LeSean picks up a double with self-destruct. I don't typically ever see that really happen at the pro kind of level, but he must have caught them off guard here, or miscommunication within the team of Austria, as now they've been completely wiped out here, even forced back to their spawn. Even Czech Republic, they want blood. They're going to continue to push in here, as now LeSean is just trying to back away, just trying to stay alive, even getting sped boost, but he will be desuited to his death. And this will be Austria back on the re-attack.
They got a little overzealous there. That was a massive D.Va ult coming in from LeSean, but then they went a little too deep with it. As Ivanhoe gets massively great position to pop that Death Blossom, and he gets 2 picks, bopped by the Lucio and thrown into more teammates coming out from Austria. So they're in a really tough spot. This choke on this map is really hard to push into.
It's funny that you mentioned that.
has the Graviton. Like, how do they get through? They really have to get rid of this Graviton, and this time is ticking against them.
Yeah, and Kanuta, he's gonna have, again, the Graviton Surge to hold this one through. I mean, it can basically come down to 1, maybe 2 fights left. So the Graviton's going to be used. A couple of the people actually on the other side of the wall here, so the follow-up isn't going to be too good, but Darren does take down Bombi, so they've lost their major tank, and now they're actually Zazzle's off towards the side, potentially going to be pushed off the map is Thridi. He's going to take down Darren in response finally, but Falcon, he still hasn't been dealt with. He's still here. Zazzle has fallen off the map, and Thrifty is pretty much the last guy left here on the point, trying to contest it, but we're going into the final attack. But luckily for Austria, they still have Graviton Surge ready to go.
Yeah, they popped the trans a little late there, though. Bombi on the Winston had already died, and then I believe it was Hydax actually pushed Watt off the map into the choke. Watt has the Graviton here, so they should be in a good position to cap this at least, but that Graviton actually hits nobody.
Well, if anything, they threw it into overtime, able to at least contest this one for a little bit longer. As Falcon's trying to go head-to-head up against Thritley, and so far he's not been able to actually win out on this trade, but it's the point, it's still being fought over. Kahuta's able to take down a kill, but Darren, the big Transcendence, is going to buy a lot of extra time here for the Czech Republic to continue to fight through, and even the pulse bomb out of Falcon's recharged and ready to go, but it doesn't hit Watt. Gets the kill anyways with just the regular guns, and now Darren able to chime in. The Transcendence being popped just to somehow give a second chance here to Austria as they're onto this attack. But I'm certain this is going to be definitely going the way here of the Czech Republic. Even Ivanhoe is ready to go. The Death Blossom if they do rush the point.
Yeah, they put themselves in a really good position. That D.Va ult actually, that suit just opened up the door for them. I thought that they were going to have a really hard time capping, let alone taking a fight. But when you get 2 free kills like that, then it's really hard to come back from that. You saw that they had a lot of trouble getting through the doors against the Graviton. You saw that they had even like Hydax getting that bop off the map against the fully charged Zarya is like not something that you can count on. They played really well. Individual plays are making this Czech Republic team look really scary right now, and if you're Austria, you have to come in with a little bit of a clean slate and figure out how you're going to deal with it. I felt like Ace Palm was doing so much work on the McCree, but they're opting not to run it on this map, maybe because they felt like maybe it was the issue because they didn't have the damage to deal with the D.Va or maybe the Zarya.
Well, we will be going over onto the second part of the map here. Currently a 1-0 lead for Czech Republic in maps on King of the Hill, and a 1-0 overall in the entire series. We are going to see LeSean on the D.Va yet again, who had a pretty good first phase. I mean, the double kill with his ultimate was pretty much like a big turning point for them, even though they overcommitted and got a little bit too aggressive. But now he's just by himself here on the point, and Bombi, with that Tesla cannon, just be able to desuit him immediately here. And they're basically finding a man down here for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, you said that, but Baby D.Va's got some pretty good DPS with this little gun. She's still alive, shooting around. She actually got an assist there, and she's behind enemy lines right now. She's firing people.
How is she not dead?
She's gonna get her suit back. They have completely ignored her, and now she's back to kill off this Watt Zarya.
All right, maybe I spoke a little bit too soon there. I was expecting LeSean to be focused on immediately after being desuited. And the pulse bomb as well coming extremely close out of Falcon to catch on a 2, but Thritley's going to have his up as well. He's looking for at least someone to kill. He's back on point too, most importantly. Throws it down onto the D.Va suit. Not going to connect onto anyone, but it doesn't matter. Watt's going to be there in time to help take Falcon down, and Thritley's going to just push them through back yet again. And Austria, they will hold the point initially.
Yo, Lestrand's on his second life as Baby Diva, and he's just kidding. He's gonna get a suit again!
I don't understand how this happens. I mean, he's gonna get his second suit, but he's finally gonna be suited yet again, and he's basically the last one off. He has to die now, most certainly. 3D is probably gonna finally able to shut him down. I think even Lestrand's wondering, how the hell was I not killed for the majority of that fight? But now ultimates are coming online yet again. qualifiers, he has his Graviton Surge ready to go. And Ivanhoe's even relatively close, and most importantly, Falcon, to pull out the Graviton Pulse Bomb combo that we've been looking for all night.
Yeah, I want to find out what happened actually. Hydax dropped the Deep to try to re-engage the Watt, counter dropped the Deep with his own Graviton. I think that a lot of teams are just, you're going to see that happen a lot more. A lot of teams realize, like, if you can get a drop the Deep off and your whole team winds up stuck in a hole anyway, like, it's not that good. So that was a really well-executed Graviton Surge coming out from Watt, and it's putting his team in a really good position now. Fighting up this hill is really good.
Yeah, and even Falcon off to the side. He's actually just going to save his Pulse Bomb. And maybe he's looking for an opportunity to pick up 2 or 3 kills with it so that they can actually go on their next attack. And he somehow actually lets Hydax die because he's trying to focus on Thriddly, but then Thriddly picks up the kill and backs away. A little bit of misplay to them, and they're going to have to wait for the respawn out of Hydax to come back in again. But they only have basically 1 attack left to go here. They've got the defense matrix to allow qualifiers to get a good Graviton Surge in. Falcon has the Pulse Bomb ready to go, so they have the combo potential to be used, but are they going to hit it? Well, the question will be, or the answer will be yes, at least on to Watt. Mercy's actually going to be knocked almost off the map here. He's going to be focused on by Falcon, who most certainly should be able to secure this kill 1v1 against the Lucio. And Mercy will just somehow staying alive as the point's actually being captured for the Czech Republic in the meantime.
Oh my god. Lestrand actually got desuited there during that fight. 1v1 the Zenyatta and actually chased the Zenyatta off the map. The Zenyatta thought that he was dodging the Baby Diva shots, but he actually just walked off the map in the process. Zazzles is going to respawn now, 75% ult, and Lestrand's going to get his suit again. He is making this small Diva form just work in his favor, and he still has his ult drop on this point right now.
I think Zazzles may be meant to do that, trying to play mind games with Lestrand. At least I hope. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt there. Meantime, self-destruct goes off, connects on to Thriddly again. We've seen that happen quite a few times, actually, with Tracer's accidentally blinking into it. Not to mention the Fence Mage is going to come in, but not before. Ace Palm does do a lot of damage and pick up a kill, or at least assist onto 2 more than that. Lestrand going to be deuced again, and now every time I do spec him, he does die in Baby Diva form. So maybe I'm kind of like putting the commentator's curse onto him, as now Darren Echo's a little bit too far pushed up, and he'll be saying goodbye to his life as well.
Yeah, I questioned the Diva pick early, but he's making this work. Like, he actually just got the kill on Thriddly on the Tracer with his ult, and then he wound up, I think, eating a majority of that Ace Palm Death Blossom during that Graviton. They're not really playing around him that much. I think Thriddly's getting away with murder a little too often right now. His Tracer's coming up really big for his team, and until they can find a way to deal with it, you saw them switch Ivanhoe to the McCree at the end there, maybe to deal with it. I think they should have kept Ivanhoe on the McCree the whole time, because he had such a great showing on Hollywood that I would have expected him to have just carried it over into Nepal.
Well, let's see what does happen, though, on the Village. And you talked about the bridge area on this map. If we're coming into both teams pushing the high ground immediately here, looking at the compositions, I personally would say I would favor the Czech Republic just with the Diva, just because of how much damage you can mitigate when it's all coming one way.
Yeah, it comes down to Bommy. Bommy will probably jump early, but if he goes in too deep, he's going to get shredded. They have a Zarya to deal with him. With the Reaper, they have the Genji. It's going to come down to the Genji versus the Winston, I would say, a majority of this fight right now. They don't have anything to cancel a Dragon ult from the Genji. There's no McCree on the enemy team, so every Dragon Blade in this game is going to be a big one, as you're going to see Bommy jump in right now, and he immediately is met by the Lestrand Diva.
He will at least be able to help pick up a kill onto 1, but Falcon's still alive. Most importantly, he's behind the enemy team as well, as Austria's just not able to deal with him so far. Falcon's still able to escape in the meantime, and Darren Neko picks himself up quite a few kills there, or at least a bunch of kills in that fight, even able to help get some extra healing off to the side. Looks like Czech Republic will be able to take the point initially off the back of Falcon at now 85% on his ultimate.
Yeah, they're gonna have. They really have to deal with this Falcon Genji right now. They don't have, like I said, they don't have any stuns, so he's gonna be able to run free. And the only way he dies is if he gets caught out or gets 1v1 by this Winston. As they're gonna take the point for free.
Oh, here's the Dragon Blade coming through though, and this is gonna be him slicing and dicing his way through the entirety of Austria. He'll pick up, 1 kill, but he'll get enough damage done nonetheless, so the rest of his team can wipe them out, take the point back, only conceding 8%. And it looks like they're more than happy to actually let the point go, but then get the refight from positions that they want to.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I wonder if they did it on purpose. They actually baited the entire team onto the point, popped the Dragon Blade, and then came in from behind and just pinched them. They get the point back, so they traded 8% for a team wipe. That was very good from them.
Yeah, and not to mention now they have Ivanhoe with Death Blossom available to go. Darren Neko, Transcendence extremely close. And they're going to have the self-destruct out of LaShawn ready to go, who's just been, as you mentioned before, such a nuisance on this D.Va. You can see him again, just mitigating a lot of damage coming his way. Post-bomb throw behind him. He'll be taken down by Thritley there on the Tracer, as he's going to be looking for more yet again. He's trying to focus down on someone. He has the Reaper. He's got so many targets to potentially go for it, but he wants the Zen. And him and Acepalm pair together to pick up 2 supports. Bommy's there as well. And finally, Austria will get a grip hold onto this map.
Yeah, this Czech Republic team is playing very, what's the word? They're just playing smart. Like, they have their ults. They could have popped trans there to save 2 or 3 people, but they opted not to. I thought that Thritley might have jumped the gun there with his pulse bomb, but he gets the kill on the D.Va because I thought they might have wanted to have comboed it with Watt's Graviton that's coming in right now. So, but now look at the ults coming in from the side of Czech Republic. They have the Graviton, they have the Death Blossom, they have the trans, so this fight should be theirs to take.
And look at Ivanhoe, most importantly too. They realized they had that fight basically won with just the Graviton Surge. They didn't commit his Death Blossom. They wanted to save it for the next fight because they realized they win 2 fights back to back. They're going to have so much extra percent built up for them, and not to mention potentially a 2-1 in their pockets as Mercy's just trying to run away for the life of him. He actually will be let go here in the meantime. But you talked about Czech Republic being really smart in ultimates, and we saw it there yet again.
Yeah, whoever's shot calling their ult usage is just doing a really good job. They saved the trans for that. Like, they could have trans immediately, and they didn't. They saved it for after the Graviton Surge came out. They got a lot of work done. Ivanhoe still hasn't used his Death Blossom. He's had it for 2 fights. He just hasn't needed it. He's been getting kills without it, and if he drops down right now, which he is, with a bubble on him, they're executing so well.
Not to mention, it's just Bommy basically by himself, and we've seen exactly what happens with the Reaper up against a Winston. He'll be able to clean him up, and now 85% in. We're going to have to see Austria fly into this point to somehow keep it contested, at least somehow throw it into an overtime. It's still going to be rough, though, because Falcon, Dragon Blade's up and ready to go. Graviton Surge is extremely close, and LaShawn has self-destruct up. So even if they lose this fight, they're going to have enough ultimates ready to go to turn the fight back around. And they're not even going to contest it at this rate, are they? No, that'll do it.
No,
Czech Republic
they
up 2-1.
played that so perfectly. Like, that was to a T, I think. Their ult usage, they dropped the Death Blossoms when they knew that they had the Zarya shield to come up. Everything was played so... They just executed really well. It doesn't matter your deathmatch. I feel like Thritley's doing a lot of work, actually, on his Tracer, but it's just not enough, you know? Because if you have your Transcendence always to counter, if you have your Drop the Beats to counter, if you're playing your positioning well, it's hard to get a lot done. And I think that they look well composed. Like, they know what they're doing, they have a game plan, and they're sticking to it. And you can really see that their ult management is just shining right now.
And we're going to see if they can close it out here as well here, because keep in mind, if Austria do come back, we will have a tie in this entire series, because you can have them happen during the World Cup. It just kind of comes in more importantly if we do have the top 2 teams in the group actually pull off a tie, which there will be a tiebreaker happen yet again. This time, though, for Czech Republic, as we get into this map yet again, they're not running Tracer. They're keeping Falcon on the Genji.
No, I think they realized how much value he was getting out of it in that last match. The Genji D.Va is actually pretty strong here, because if they can deal with the Winston, the Genji can run free. Thritley is going to go down really early, and that's really bad for the side of Austria, but they're getting kind of pinned here.
Not to mention Falcon is actually getting dashes through multiple people time and time again here, able to build up so much extra damage for his side. He's at 65% on his ultimate already, and they're going to be able to take the point successfully. So a strong start for Czech Republic, as now Austria going to be looking to go back on the attack. However, they do have Watt with Graviton Surge ready to go. Problem is, Thritley isn't available with a Pulse Bomb just yet.
They might not need it, though. We'll see how long they wait on it. They have to worry about this defense matrix eating it right now. Like, that's the only thing that'll really stop this push. They should be able to just tap cap it, though, as we see Lucio fall off the map. That's not a good sign. They do not want to take this fight right now.
Yeah, that's
Every
not a good
death
start.
they get right now is pretty detrimental to their push.
I know Watt's going to get the Graviton Surge up onto 2 people. It's going to be followed up by the Tracer as well, but Darren Neko's able to return a kill. Not to mention Falcon is still there with the Dragon Blade. Zazzles is actually going to pick up the kill onto him, but not before being taken down by LaShawn. Now the rest of the team just have to wait for this respawn to come back through. 35% now built up here for the Czech Republic, and they have double support ultimate ready to go and Graviton Surge momentarily.
Yeah, that Graviton was a little rushed, and you could see it there. They weren't able to kill the Lucio through the ulti, and then now that the Lucio survived, he has dropped a beat, and they're going to be able to get a few kills here on the back of it. This High Noon's going to come out from Acepalm. He's going to get nothing out of it, actually. I thought he was about to get a kill, but I'm pretty sure that Kanhuta came in and double bubbled 2 people.
Oof, and
now they're just going to hold on to this point for dear life.
Oh, and the Graviton Surge is going to be used as well out of Kanhuta, but it hits absolutely nothing, so maybe a little bit of overcommitment out of him, but nonetheless, they have to be feeling momentum as well, because they're up 2-1, they're up 1-0 in the series, and they're already 57% of the way through coming into this potentially final map. We got double support ultimates now for Austria. You can see Mercy and Zazzles both with those ready to go, and they're hopping straight on point. They're not waiting at all here to make this one happen.
Yeah, it's going to come down to whether or not Ace Palm can kill this Falcon Genji. This Genji's getting a lot of work done. This Transcendent's going to come out. They should be able to just cap off the back of this. They shouldn't have to really expend anything else.
Well, LeSean, he's got self-destruct ready to go, but he's actually been forced to go back towards the health pack as the rest of his teammates have been picked off. And smartly enough, he's just going to back away with Canuta there, try to save his self-destruct, try to help save his teammates here potentially as well. As you can already see, Austria just charging straight through. And the teammates will survive. And now they've got some pretty big ultimates ready to go. But then you look at Austria, look what they have available. 4 ultimates ready to go. They are able to smartly keep their ultimates online and not overstack, or at least not stack them between the two supports.
Yeah, what's interesting too is that Canuta actually missed his Graviton in that last fight. Like we said that he just completely whiffed it, but he almost has it again. And Watt's only now getting his. Like the two of them are pretty even, despite the fact that he was behind. And now you're gonna see this drop the beat come out from Hydax. His whole team gets in, and now they're getting kills on Zaggle. This fight is just so chaotic. They're playing this really well.
And LeSean was able to mitigate, not to mention the Deadeye there in the last few seconds out of Ace Palm, just switching it on and off here. Canuta does have Graviton Surge available to use, but he doesn't want to pop it off just yet because LeSean's picked up a triple kill in this fight. He's got 80% in his ultimate, so at least he's suited in the midst of this one, was able to fight back enough, and going at 70, now 80% with the Graviton Surge and a Death Blossom ready to go. Could this be the end of Austria? Could this be them dropping out on this map?
It really comes down to this Graviton right now from Watt. If Watt can come up huge, if they need to just take this point right now and not worry. Like, they need to get the whole team in here because they're staggering a little bit. Half the team's going to the point, half the team's backing up, and that's never going to win you an engagement.
Yeah, they're actually not going to be able to cap this point either because Thurtley is the last man alive, and I don't see him potentially pulling off a 1v6 anytime soon, as it will be in overtime, and no one's there to keep it contested, and the Czech Republic will come back after tying on map number 1 of Volskaya between them and Austria. They win Hollywood, and now they win Nepal. And I believe, no, I don't believe, I don't even know if this was their first match or not because they might have been able to schedule it in the meantime between me setting matches and whatnot. So nonetheless, they're at least up 1 map in the entirety of the group. And so is Austria though. They're 1-1 currently as they did win the first map up against Serbia.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. I thought that they looked a little frazzled after the Volskaya match. Like, they weren't able to make a push work on the Czech Republic, but they came into Hollywood just swinging, and then you saw them here. They know what they're doing on these control maps, and they played around their ults really well. They played around their team really well, and they made the comp work. I didn't expect the D.Va to get so much value, but every time that she had the ult, she got a kill or two, it felt like. And that's not something that you see every day. They really made their heroes work, and you could tell that they had a game plan. I was impressed. Not
to mention the Zaryas. I mean, we saw so many ultimates coming online so quickly, even with, obviously with the D with the enemy team, it's relatively easy to make that one happen. But nonetheless, still some pretty damn good games between these two teams, and we still have tons to come up throughout the entirety of the weekend. I just quickly pull up the schedule of what we have coming up on ESL tomorrow. At 12:30 CEST, we have France versus Croatia. After that, we'll be going into Finland. That's like Taimu, that's Zapis, that's Linkser, up against Hungary. After that match, we will have Sweden up against Slovakia. After that, it'll be Romania up against Slovakia. Germany up against Ireland as well. We get to see Internet Hulk and his team. And I think that's the last game of the day we have on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. But there's still even games on Sunday on the 11th. And not to mention there's streams covering this one from every language. We've got Korean, we've got Russian, we got French, and we have German. There we go. German. Cirrus is actually doing that one over, I think, at Take TV Studios. But Flame, it's been great cast with you. Can you let people know where they can find you and what you've been up to?
You can find me on twitch.tv/flame. You can find me on Twitter at MattRod with a 0 instead of an O. Or you can find me on YouTube at Flame617 as I upload my VOD analyses, which have pretty much gotten me here. So keep the support up.
I thought it was your cute face that got you here. So
yeah, the Q face definitely got me there. It got me in that chair. It's for I think a
the
majority of those casts, at least. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not in the chair anymore, and I'm sorry I can't res you anymore. But you were there for at least in spirit. At least you're a ghost now, right? But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our games today. Unfortunately, we can only cast 2 because some games went on a little bit long, but keep in mind we have 5 coming up tomorrow, and we'll be starting at 12:30 CEST. So make sure to follow the Twitch channel because this is where we do all of our Overwatch casting here at ESL if we do any of it. And of course, make sure to follow Flame. You can see his Twitter at MattRod. The O is a 0. It just doesn't show well in this text, but make sure you give him a follow. Make sure to check out his videos as well. And thanks again, man. I really appreciate you coming on to cast with us. It was actually a good opportunity to finally see what you got, at least from my point of view personally. I'm looking forward to working with you again in the future. Thanks. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope to see you guys again. Pleasure to be at the studio. Great seats, great chairs. Yeah, how comfortable is that ESL Maxonomic chair? It's enough to take a nap in it, and you can't even see me. I'm so low. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. p.m. So that's like right afternoon for France up against Croatia. Hope you guys have a great night, and thanks again for tuning in.